Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I am Laura. I am the owner of Rustic Scoop, and if you have been here for the last several months, you know that we partner with the Food and Meat Co-op, which we are thrilled to do. We love being able to share our products. We are here local in Utah, for those of you that are here watching locally. We love being able to provide food for our local community, and then for people that are not here locally, we also ship nationwide, but we love working with the Food and Meat Co-op because we love our local customers and what the Food and Meat Co-op does for our community. So today we are going to make hamburger and hot dog buns. We thought it would be the perfect time to do this because, as you know, it is barbecue month here at the Food and Meat Co-op, which we absolutely love, and we are super excited to be able to get you guys on the right track for all of your barbecue needs this summer. Our buns are super easy to make, they're super delicious, and so we're gonna get started. I'll just tell you a little bit about what we're gonna do today, and if you have questions, please let us know in the comments if you're watching on Facebook or you are watching on the Food and Meat app. Either one, you can type questions. I'll do my best to get to them. If I don't get to them while I'm talking, because it's hard for me to multitask, I'm here by myself, I will get to them at the end, so be sure that you stay till the end. We try to keep these about 20 minutes so they aren't too long for you all. Today we are going to be using our pizza crust mix. If you would like to buy our sampler, it is one of all of our mixes. We have 4 mixes currently. It is pizza crust and chocolate cake and cupcake. It is sandwich bread and also pancake and waffle. They all make other things as well. Obviously our pizza is making hamburger buns, so we have lots of other options for you as well. If you would like to buy our sampler, just type in sold 101 in the comment box. I really apologize. I accidentally put clearance items in there which are not available as 100, so do not put 100 in. Put 101 in if you want our sampler. I apologize again for that. So it is sold 100 if you want our sampler. And so today, like I said, we're gonna use our our pizza mix to make hamburger and hot dog buns. And you will have the recipe on the Food and Meat blog. It'll be there for you. And so we're gonna get started. They're super easy and so amazing. They freeze beautifully, so we just make them in very large amounts. And then I cut them and I freeze them, and then the next time I want hamburgers or hot dogs, I just pull them out of the freezer. So when you get our pizza crust mix, it also comes with psyllium husk in this separate bag, and that is also noted in the recipe. And so I'm gonna get my lid really fast to my mixer. So I have a stand mixer here. I have my paddle attachment in it. I also did it this morning with my whisk attachment. Either one works. I do prefer the paddle attachment, but the whisk works as well. Now, if you don't have a stand mixer, it would be really hard to do it with a hand mixer. You can make this by hand with a spoon in a bowl. You just have to mix really fast and you get some good muscles. But you can do it if you do it quickly because it thickens up over time. So that's why you have to do it quickly. So let's get started. If you're just joining us, I'm Laura. I'm the owner of Rustic Scoop, and we are making hamburger and hot dog buns today, just in time for barbecue month. That we're super excited. So this is our pizza crust mix. All of our mixes are gluten-free, top 8 allergen-free. This one is actually top 9 allergen-free. So we're just gonna dump this here in my stand mixer. And again, you will have the recipe later, I think today, on the blog. So make sure that you pick that up. And then you're gonna add the extra bag of psyllium husk in with your dry mix. Super easy if I can get it open. So again, if you have questions, let me know. I'll try to get to them the best that I can. So we're gonna mix that just briefly together so it's well combined. And while I do that, I'm gonna look here for questions. Oh, thank you. So Dorothy says that she's so excited she never would have thought to create hamburger buns using pizza crust mix. So with our mixes, all of our mixes are different, or we would have made an all-purpose. People ask us often, why don't we have an all-purpose mix? And I believe I've been baking free from for 17 years. And I believe that not one mix fits all the needs or performs the way that you would want it to make lots of different products. And so that's why we have a few items, but they do make multiple things. And so pizza crust was what we thought would make hamburger and hot dog buns the best, and it surely does. So, and thank you, Kristen, for buying. And again, if you want all 4 of our mixes, just put sold 101 in the comment box. I apologize about my mistake. So it is sold 101, and the whole set is yours. And so we are quickly going to start here with some warm water. And you want it, if you don't have a thermometer, you just want to barely combine it. If you don't have a thermometer, you want it to be not so hot to the touch that it will burn you, and you don't want it so cool that it's less than lukewarm. So it should be warm to the touch. And then we are going to add, I have egg whites here because that's what I have in my fridge today, but there are options on the ingredients how you can make it egg-free as well, or vegan if you're vegan. You can also use, in place of the egg whites, which is on the recipe, aquafaba, which is the water from a can of garbanzo beans, which works beautifully. We actually do that often here in our home. If you can't do that, you can also use a powdered egg replacer, and the instructions are there on the recipe. But I am going to put in egg whites. And set this aside. And then going to add, I have olive oil, light tasting olive oil. Any oil will work. You just want to make sure that it's light tasting so that you don't get a funky flavor. And then vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar if you don't want to use white vinegar or don't have it on hand. You could also use lemon juice if you needed to. You just need an acid, a liquid acid. And then I'm doing honey. Obviously, honey is not vegan. If you're vegan, you can do maple syrup, or you could do cane sugar. Totally works as well. It's just for the yeast, to help the yeast become active and happy. If you don't use yeast very much and you're concerned about using yeast because you haven't done it, you'll want to mix your yeast with your warm water and then your sweetener and let it sit for 5 minutes before you add it to the dry mix. And when it gets foamy, then you know that it's active and it's working, and you can put it into your dry mix. If after 5 minutes nothing has happened, it doesn't look foamy, it hasn't changed, it's not bubbling, then you know that your active yeast is not active and it's not alive, and you'll need to use different yeast. So now we're gonna mix fully. And that's it. That's the only ingredients that you have to add. It's super easy. Usually they're ingredients that most people have at home. Get it really well mixed up here. Again, if you have questions, let us know. Type them in the comment box. We'd love to make sure that we answer your questions, because no one wants to have unanswered questions when baking gluten-free. And here's the thing about gluten-free. People really panic about making any type of bread product when it comes to gluten-free baking. And I personally think it's way easier to make gluten-free breads than it is to make gluten-y breads. Gluten-y, as I call it. It's not really a word, but if you're celiac or gluten-free, that's kind of what we call it. It doesn't require kneading at all. It's super easy. You mix, and then I'll show you how to shape it, and then you let it sit to rise, which is all hands off, and then you let it bake. It really truly is simple. Do not let gluten-free, especially bread baking, really none of it, but bread baking in particular, people seem the most worried about. It really doesn't need to be. So we want to show you how easy it really is. It literally takes about 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most to make these, including shaping. And so do not be afraid. You can do this at home. If you ever have questions outside of doing our lives, please just send me a text or an email, or find us on social media. I'm the one that responds on social media currently. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I'm gonna push my mixer out of the way without throwing it off my counter, because that would not be good. So I'm gonna show you what this looks like so you know at home what this should look like when you make it. It's thick, it is kind of sticky, but it is not like batter. So one thing that is very different, I would say, about our mixes over many others, not all, but many others, is that our breads, you can mold by hand. You don't need a mold. They are not batter-like. They do not mush into nothing. They really are really beautiful and easy to work with. It is more like a dough. It's not going to be as thick as a gluten dough, but it's certainly not going to be like a batter. So that's all you have to do. And then you want a pan. You can use a baking sheet with or without edges. We just use ones with edges, but whatever works for you, because these aren't gonna go off the sides. So I just have parchment paper here over the top. I'm gonna take my ring off so I don't get stuff in it. And you're going to take a half of a cup. Hang on just a second, I'm gonna check. So if you want all of our mixes, it's called a sampler. Just put sold 101 in the comment box and they're yours. So I'm gonna check down here. So Kristen says she's been gluten-free for 1.5 years and have avoided bread, and she's so excited to try this. Kristen, I'm so excited for you to try this too. I promise you can do it. If you ever have questions, please let us know. It really is this easy. You're watching me do it. So you're gonna take half a cup, and we're just gonna do a few of these so I don't bore you. But you're just gonna fill it completely and then scrape it out with a spatula. And you're just gonna leave blobs here on your parchment paper. There, you can see my blob. And I'm just gonna do a few of these. Again, it's super easy to work with, but it keeps its shape. Unlike a lot of gluten-free bread. And that, I believe that that's the secret to amazing gluten-free bread and rolls. We have lots of roll recipes and buns. We do pretzels. Anyways, is that the dough is shapeable, that it's not like a batter. Because how do you make a beautiful shape like a pretzel or keep a beautiful shape of a bun if the dough is like batter? You can't do anything with it. So we worked for many years to perfect these to make sure that they are simple and easy and of course delicious for all of you. Okay, so I'm just gonna do 4. This recipe will make 9 or 10 buns that are about half a cup of dough each. And then I am just gonna take some olive oil, again, whatever light tasting oil you have, whatever works for you is great. You're just gonna sprinkle some on the top because again, it is sticky-ish. It's more tacky, I would say. So I'm gonna show you, right? It's stretchy. So we're gonna play with it a little bit. You can see I'm just real gently rolling it here and you have a little puck and it keeps it shaped. And that's exactly what you want. You're just gonna roll. That's just how I do it, but if you find a different way, you just don't wanna squish it. And then you're gonna put it here and I kind of roll like this just to keep the round shape. And again, you can see this one still keeps its shape because glorious bread, I'm telling you everybody, you're gonna be so excited. If you're gonna make a hot dog bun, I'll do one next. You're just gonna make a different shape, right? You're gonna make a long oblong, is that the right word? Oblong shape, anyways. And then you're gonna flatten these. I know that sounds terrible, but they really will rise. I'll show you, I made some this morning so you can see the end result. So you're gonna gently flatten. They should be 3/4 of an inch or so once you flatten them. And here I'll take this one and I will, again, it's tacky. It's not like, you know, it's not gooey batter. It's not gonna go through my fingers and flop down. It's gonna keep its shape. So we're gonna make a hot dog bun. And if you have kids, you can make really small ones, whatever works. They're not picky, which I love too. So this dough is beautiful to work with, super easy as you can see. Okay, so I'm gonna do it like that, and then you can kind of pull gently and roll a little bit. You can roll this. Again, you don't need to knead it though. And then I'm gonna flatten slightly. It's about the thickness of a hot dog, but it's gonna rise. And so it's gonna be bigger and fluffier by the time you're done. And I kid you not, that's it. That's all you have to do. That's all the hands-on. Obviously, you have to finish the rest of the batter. Again, it will make 9 or 10 buns, depending how much dough in your half a cup you get. Sometimes we get over. And this time I actually remembered to get a wet paper towel to clean my hands, so I didn't have to leave you. So if you have questions, let me know, put them in the box. If you want to buy our sampler, just put sold 101 in the comment box and our sampler is yours. Again, if you're just joining us, we're making hamburger and hot dog buns. It is barbecue month here at the Food and Meat Co-op, and we are so excited to be able to offer you gluten-free top 9 allergen-free are the buns. And they're amazing. So once you're done forming them and shaping them, you just want to put them in a warm, draft-free place for a half hour. If you have a stovetop like this, my oven is on, and I'm just going to stick it on top of my stove because it's warm. It has a little bit of a warm draft. So I'm just going to stick these here. They're going to rise for 30 minutes. And then you're just going to stick them in the oven at 350 for another 30 minutes. And then they are done. And I'm going to show you what they look like when they are done. Telling you, you're never going to go back. I'm going to bring them over without dumping them on the floor because that would be really sad. So I did make these this morning. Normally you want to let them cool completely on a cooling rack. That way they have, draft underneath them so they're not getting moist and wet on the bottom. Normally you want to make sure that they're completely cool so they're easier to cut, or they can feel a little wet in the middle, but I'm going to show you anyways. So I am going to cut these with a serrated knife. Any kind of serrated knife is going to work. You don't want to use a flat knife or it's going to mush the bun when you cut it. Any bread that you want to cut, you're going to want to use a serrated knife. And then we butter these. You don't have to, but when they're done cooking, we just brush them with melted butter. We use vegan butter, whatever works for you. Our family is dairy-free, and so we use Earth Balance. The soy-free is the red tub, and the yellow has soy. Keep that in mind if you can't have soy. I'm so good. I'm so thankful, Dorothy, that you think they look freaking fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a close-up. Ready? So the outside is nice. It has a slight crisp on the outside, but not crispy, slightly. And then look at this beautiful inside. So I am not joking you. They are soft and tender in the middle, nice open air pockets, super duper easy to make. And then if you like to grill your buns, you can grill them. I've seen somebody, they put Okay, I'm so sorry I got cut off. My phone blipped out. Okay, so anyways, I was just showing how glorious these really are on the inside. So you can eat them straight out of the oven once they cool because they're so soft and tender, or you can put them on your grill if you want to do that. I know a lot of people will put butter in a frying pan and then they'll just brown them in some butter. Super yummy, delicious, whatever you want to do. My girls use these for sandwiches all the time. They are super delicious. So anyways, if you would like to buy, obviously our whole set is called the sampler, just put sold 101 in the comment box and they are yours. And we're super excited that you are loving our mixes. And again, if you ever have questions, please find me, social media, or our website has our phone number, or our email. Any of them work. You get me currently. I'm the one that responds, so I'm more than happy to help you with anything you need. Thank you so much for being here. We love being a part of the Food and Meat Co-op and providing amazing gluten-free and allergen-friendly mixes for you. And we hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.